Hey, what's good, everybody? Man, we're coming to the end of another long and wonderful weekend. And, man, coming together with some thoughts of mine. Oh, man. It's like this weather is absolutely perfect, y'all. I wanted to spend a few moments talking. I'll move my stands a little bit over here so that way. There you go. You get me a little bit more full view. You can see my little table in the background. I've been cooking just a little bit this weekend, you know what I mean? A little barbecue action. Made some burgers off the chain. But I just wanted to make a quick point. And this is the YouTube content I'm trying to come up with and discuss different topics to try to give some perspective. You see my Yoda shirt, Mandalorian, y'all, amazing show. And but I just wanted to talk to y'all about not just real estate, because I'm the friendly neighborhood realtor, but this is where I kind of take my hat and move it to the side. And I've been real observant, and we have a lot of things that are going on in this world, and you make a comment toward one or the other, you can offend somebody. And I'm not really in the business of offending people, but I'm certainly not in the business of being silent about things that really matter. And one thing that I love about America is her culture and her history. She's not perfect, but nowhere on the face of the planet is there any other place that's perfect either. But what I love about America so much is how quickly, when America was formed, it began to gain influence and has taken us from then till now. Now, the world is a different place than what it was. And today I really want to speak mainly on the topic of, well, I hate saying cancel culture or censorship, because those are the buzzwords, right? Those are the buzzwords. Everybody's about this freedom of speech thing, and I am too. But I want to make sure that we have an understanding of the whys behind it. I'll be quick about this. History is not something you should edit or remove, sanitize or correct. History was corrected, and it's still in the process of being corrected. One of the great, adages within American history, within our Constitution, I believe it is the phrase, to form a more perfect union. In other words, there was still work to be expected that needed to be done. And I think that that's where we need to really focus on, is making us a more perfect union. Now, that doesn't mean that suddenly we attain perfection overnight. No, that's not. That's never going to be the case. It'll never happen. Guys, so long as we live, there will always be imperfections because we are imperfect people. But what I genuinely feel is that by trying to sanitize histories of its imperfections and improprieties and incorrect thinking or Neanderthal thinking, by sanitizing and correcting and just removing it all. And again, I'm repeating myself, removing it all, we stymie the opportunities to become better. Because rather than look at the mess that we made and then correct it, we say just simply erase the mess and it never existed. And it still exists. I remember I want to say that the cancel culture really gained status and notoriety when they were going after Hollywood producers who were known to use their positions of power to gain access to female intimacy. Let's just be real. Bugs in a way. They use their power to gain access to superstars or stars in the making, and we're hoping that, hey, she do X to get Y, and which would allow her to attain Z, status at the zenith, And we started exposing people. We started seeing actresses expose people and so on and so forth. And there was a little phrase that came along with it that said, believe all women. I often laugh to myself, and I find it ironic that we say believe all women, but we didn't believe and still don't believe black people when they say that there is racism in America. I'm not even asking you to believe all the stories. I mean, sure, go ahead, do your investigation. But you won't. You'll just simply say, well, that's unfortunate, and keep it moving. Again, I don't want to turn this into being the United States of the aggrieved. I think that, a lot of us who have suffered and been through forms of discrimination, one way or the other, especially people of my ilk, we know how to rally ourselves. We know how to push forward and move beyond them, because no one will ever hinder us for the status or the color of our skin or who you think we are. But what I don't want to do is get stuck on removing these things being a status within our great country's histories. We have an archive that should have those things not only observed, but discussed and examined on how not to repeat history. I repeat, how not to repeat history. I repeat, how not to repeat history. That's why those things ought to stand. I don't believe that Gone with the Wind should be removed. I don't believe that the Huckleberry Finn novels ought to be removed. I don't believe that Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben, or any one of these other black caricatures should be removed. I think that we should keep them there as reminders as to how far we've come. And if anything, learn to appreciate what we don't quite understand. Learn to appreciate what brought us to this point. We can't just look at black people as having delivered themselves from the hands of evil, because it clearly wasn't. Let's be real here. There are plenty of white people who put their hands in with us, and they should be recognized. We shouldn't try to remove it all because maybe somebody who doesn't quite understand the context is feeling some kind of way about it. Anyway, that's my unpopular opinion. This is your boy TD Landry. As you can see, it's getting gradually darker, and I need to get my behind back inside because I have a business meeting tonight. Booyah! Later.